Hey everyone, I want to give you a quick content warning for dismemberment and drug use. It happens rather early in the episode, so if you would like to skip about 15 minutes in, uh, that should get you past it. But without further ado, here is episode 2 of The Eye of the Tyrant. Welcome to episode 2 of The Eye of the Tyrant. When we last left off, Vesper was introduced to prison life and what it means to be a resident aboard the Eye of the Tyrant. While there, she made several new friends who, you know, she might not view them as friends yet, but once somebody picks you, kind of stuck with them. But anyway, she finished up her first day without any incident, avoided conflict by running as fast as she could from it. And the next day, well, started off not so great. Vesper, I'm going to need you to make a level 5 might roll for me. This is to see if you can stay conscious over the next few minutes of whatever is going to happen. Helps if I have roll 20 open so I can see your rolls. I do now, so we're good.
I'm just gonna, we'll just let it go.
Failure. So, from your perspective, this is what you see. You look around you as you wake up in a cold and sterile room with a bright, buzzing light and the smell of antiseptic. How you got here and what you can remember is fuzzy. It's not really hard to nail down the exact sequence of events, but it went something like this. The ringing in your ears, the flash of pain, and the horrified look on everyone's face. The guards burst in, dropping everyone to the floor. You hear as a few guards tie something around your arm and you feel cold. Priority prisoner secured. Heading to the med wing now. One says over the radio just before you lost total consciousness and the world went black. Now, for everybody else, this is a pretty quick situation. Samuel, you have to keep your cover as a guard. What do you do in this moment as the alarm is sounded and the guards begin to rush into the room?
I think I would just let's see if they're coming in and like hitting the other prisoners with like rubber bullets or a baton or something. I think I would let them do that and be more of a first aid and response to the injury of the person I was supposed to be watching over.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a... This is going to be an intellect check for you, but essentially is you performing some quick rudimentary first aid on our friend Vesper.
Right. I don't have anything super fancy about that. Maybe, it's fine. Any DC?
DC for this is just going to be a 3. You have assistance, essentially, from the other guards at the moment.
Oh, right. I'll just...
Fantastic. You were able to help to stop the bleeding, but it is a grisly sight. Sear, Egg. As soon as the guards come bursting in, it seemed everybody that you were having conflict with lost their nerve. Everybody has dropped to the ground. What would you like to do in this situation?
Yeah, I think Seer is going to single out the guy that seems to be leading the pack. Do we have a name for him? Have we gotten a name for him?
I can have a name for him. His name's Hibalt.
Hibalt. So Hibalt has menaced us multiple times. I killed one of his friends in front of him, and he still came back for us. So Seer's out of mercy. So in the few seconds that we have before the guards come in, Seer's just going to flop down on the ground, hands behind his head, look up at Hibalt, and just give him just this stare and just try to vaporize his mind.
All right. Definitely go. Yeah. So that's just an onslaught, mental or physical. I would assume does more damage that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You throw him against the wall using your mind. He hits his head, and a pool of crimson liquid begins to spread across the floor. The guards come bursting in, and they are all brandishing rifles as they throw in smoke grenades, and the atmosphere begins to get quite a bit less breathable. This is fine for Samuel. Samuel, you have a mask that is always available to you with your uniform, and you throw it on. As the other hooligans, the rival prison gang, looks around, absolute terror and tears in their eyes from the gas. You are all pulled out and kind of put out into the hallway. Vesper, you are whisked away to somewhere as you fade completely out of consciousness. Samuel,
Am I with her?
You are going with her.
Okay.
With the rest of the guards. As somebody turns to you, a superior officer that you would recognize, he looks at you and he goes, "I'm going to need a report on what happened here. This is unacceptable. She was your charge."
Will do.
That superior officer's name was Jean, but not John, like Jean, like Jhaan, Jean.
French.
Yeah, this is French Jean.
Yeah.
And eventually, you, Seer, and Egg are taken to your quarters. And to your quarters, you stay for a while. It's been... Sorry, there's a song going through my head. It's been a week since you talked to Vesper.
That tear gas was so strong, it's been 1 week since we looked at anybody.
Yeah.
My brain, it thinks in songs, so
You hear it. It's anytime anyone says it's been.
Yeah,
it just
100%.
You go to it. You always go to that song.
You gotta
It's
like.
been
If you give any moment to think, the brain just naturally jumps to it. You have to be just like.
You really
thorough
do.
with
You have to finish that sentence out. But your meals have been delivered to you. There has been no community time, no work time. Vesper, as you wake up in this very uninviting hospital room, what do you do?
I think I would immediately try and sit up.
It is painful. I need you to make a might check for me. This is going to be a difficulty 4. Basically, you fighting against that pain in order to right yourself. 14. Successful. You are able to kind of lift yourself up. There's no one else in this room. though there are other beds neatly made. You put your left arm down and go to lift, and then you go to lift with your right arm and slump for a second. It's at that moment that you look down and you see the most rinky-dinky, cheap mechanical prosthetic replacing up to your shoulder. It's strange because you can almost feel it. But it functions. It moves the way you want it to move. Your hand opens and closes. It seems like it will be usable for you. It's just, if you were out in the world and you had access to the resources that you normally have access to, it probably wouldn't be the model you would have picked. But such is the medical care in the most high security prison in the galaxy. PK.
Mm-hmm.
Over this past week, what have you been doing? What has PK been planning for?
For Samuel.
Who's PK?
Sorry, Samuel.
Samuel. Hey, I've been making plans for Samuel. I think I would be monitoring the strength of the solar flares that have been going on around us and in the system itself to see a pattern of them and understanding the intensity of it.
Yeah.
I would be checking in and making sure that Vesper is doing well. I would be checking in with... I'd be giving those updates to Brayden and Egg as far as things went on. And I'd be looking for a way for us to...
Who's Brayden?
Egg and Seer. My apologies. We're all over the place, guys. And yeah, I would then be looking for a way, potentially to get Egg and Seer into a cargo like loading duty, a shifting duty of goods around, as well as looking for ways to protect ourselves from solar flares and such if we need to leave during high intensity.
For this, I'm going to need you to make a couple of different checks.
Right.
So, first one is going to be an intellect check that is you kind of learning about these solar flares. Understanding. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is something that I have that I can get bonuses to it.
So you're using the computer. You're trying to understand the information on the screen and what it is showing you. So that's going to definitely give you a asset to your roll. It's going to be a difficulty 5 to kind of piece together all the information about these solar flares. You're not a scientist, and really the closest person you know to be qualified for something like that would probably be Vesper, who is currently in a medically induced coma.
All right, so we've got challenge rating 5. I'm going to do an effort on the roll. I also get the asset from the understanding ability. Is that I still fail?
It happens.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. Yeah.
It's strange. It seems, from what you can tell, because of the amount of effort and stuff you threw into that, I am going to give you some information. But not the resolution of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You see that these are increasing in their intensity. The sun seems to be ejecting quite a bit of mass and coronal masses off of its surface. These solar flares seem to be ruining communication, not just with the station and beyond, but even communications at times within the station itself from one sector to another. They've had to kind of resort to using some of the older wired communication methods as opposed to using the typical wireless communication methods.
Okay.
For the trying to put Egg and Seer on another duty, for that, that is going to be more of a persuasion type role.
Okay.
You're good at that. So you can definitely use influencing minds, I would say.
Yeah, that maybe positive social interactions, both of which are just a trained skill.
Yep. I would say influencing minds is going to be a little bit better because you would typically already have pretty positive social interactions with the other guards around you.
Yeah.
But in this situation, you're trying to convince them to not only put two prisoners on more cozy detail, but two prisoners that were involved in an incident that led to the dismemberment of a important prisoner.
Oopsie.
Yeah, and I think I've got this ability called spin identity, which I can convince someone that I'm kind of just from a certain thing. So I might go up to the docks and use kind of that spin identity and saying, like, with that lack of communication and the potential trouble, maybe verifying, I would say I'm from a different sector, saying that these guys have been assigned duty and probably try and lie a little bit that way as well. And like, I just your commander sent me to put these two guys on this work duty over here, and lie a bit about that as well if I can.
Absolutely. Samuel, the commanding officer, Jean, sits you down in his office and goes, "What the hell happened out there?"
My understanding is that Vesper made friends with a few other prisoners on her first day. Those prisoners, Egg and Seer, had trouble, interactions with a different gang within the prison, and Vesper became intertwined in that whole controversy and problem. Kind of got caught in the middle of it all when that gang attacked Egg and Seer inside the workroom. The improper shutdown and quick evacuation of the workroom by all other parties besides that gang built to a pressure buildup in some of the machinery, which caused an explosive explosive event, blasting Vesper into some machinery that then fell and crushed her arm.
This looks quite terrible. We are attempting to conceal as much information from her parents as possible.
Why would they get any information anyway? Why are we sending them any updates?
She is a senator's daughter. She may be here for the rest of her known life, but they do have a vested interest in how she's treated in here.
Is she like being held hostage so that these senators will vote properly or something? What's going on?
No, her being here is their wish. Originally, the judge apparently, and he kind of flips through some pages on his data pad, swiping through, and he goes, the judge had recommended a much lighter sentence, but her father said it would look too much like special treatment if she were to get off with a slap on the wrist.
And her crime was trespassing on a embargoed planet.
Quarantined,
Embargoed
yes.
Quarantined planet. Yeah.
Between you and me, it's...
Yeah.
Well, there was a rebel stronghold somewhere on the planet. Seems to be wrong time, wrong place. But I have orders to follow, and that is what I am going to do. I am going to follow my orders, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep this prisoner alive.
Yeah. Speaking of orders here, I get a few. I hand him a few pieces of paper, and it's like I've got transfer orders that I need you to sign off on for both Egg and Seer. I want them to separate them from that other gang that they were fighting with. I want them to start working on the load and unload docks, just to keep them away from that other gang. Do you think we could do that?
Yeah. So go ahead and make your roll for this. It is going to be the influencing minds, or probably influencing minds is the best one.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a difficulty 4. It is doable.
I'm slightly trained. We've got 4. I'm going to expend an effort, spending 2 points of my intellect to reduce the DC by 1. Believe that is that. Boom. Successful.
Fantastic. Love that. I'm just now remembering I didn't give you guys experience at the end of last session, so I'm adding to your experience pools.
Oh, lovely.
So,
Thank
Great.
you.
Got some XP.
you know,
I didn't get any because my arm didn't get cut
Vesper, you have too much XP. Just so you know, Vesper, you can only have 2 more XP before you have to start spending it.
Okay, I forgot how to spend it, so I'll have to
No.
go over that later.
We'll definitely go over that over break. Absolutely.
Yeah, when do I get more XP? Is it every time you fail? Is it every time I...
So natural
Roll
ones
again?
is what we're gonna do,
Okay.
and we're also going to do obviously GM intrusions. That's the typical time that it's gonna happen, and then natural 20s. So if you roll well, I'm gonna reward you.
Okay, perfect.
For those listening at home, these are home brew rolls to make sure that to make sure that things are moving along at a fun and enjoyable pace for the players, and they can get all their cool stuff as they level up. He looks at the request papers, looks up at you. He seems kind of suspicious, but also at the same time goes, and these are the 2 that seem to be keeping an eye out for Vesper.
Yeah, I think they kind of started their own gang together, the 3 of them. And I guess I'm
Alright.
the gang's manager as their supervisory guard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not good for optics for the rest of the prison. But in order to keep us employed and not as residents of this prison instead, I'm going to allow this. You can, starting next week, begin to take this Egg and Seer onto more isolated duties. Bring Vesper
It's not
with
like I'm trying
them
to-
as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to get him a job in the library or anything. They're still going to be doing hard work.
It's funny. We get requests for the library often.
Yeah. People asking them like, oh yeah, we'll put you on the list for the library.
Yes. Well, back to your duties.
All right, boss. I'll see you in a bit. I'll see you around. You'll get the update tonight with the paperwork and everything when I turn in my forms.
All right.
You have a good one.
Fantastic.
And I stand up, grabbing the papers, the transfer orders and whatnot, work orders, and walk out of the office.
All right. As you do, you get a slight buzz from your communicator informing you that the priority prisoner has awakened.
Okay. I will head that way relatively quickly, unless, well, maybe I'll stop by Seer and Egg first, if I can. Just on the way.
Yeah.
For a quick chat.
Yep.
And I'll
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll go up to their. I was gonna say dorm, but it's their cell.
That's a nice way of putting it.
I see Egg picking his nose over there, and I knock on the door.
You think they'll put us on library duty?
I can only hope.
Knock, knock, knock. Hey guys. New orders for you to avoid any further problems with other prisoners. You have been assigned duty on the docks, loading and unloading ships. It's usually a smaller team that has to do that. So it'll be you two, me, and Vesper.
How serendipitous.
And Vesper's just woken up, so here's the transfer order. And I step into the cells at this point, and get close to handing the papers. And in my lower voice, now that we're closer together and such, I say, so those plates that we were made in the machine shop are going to be loaded up onto these ships. You need to find time to sneak some of those panels out of the boxes and line them around the AI core of the ship that we're going to be stealing, as well as the reactor core, so that they're both protected from solar flare activity. It's going to be very important for us to escape because this sun is not calming down anytime soon. My understanding of generals this can go on for months and maybe a year. I think last I looked at the computer, there was a record of strong solar flare activity. Maybe 15 years ago, it went on for 8 months. So it could be a while. So we'll need that protection on the ship.
Very good.
Samuel, you're an absolute genius.
Oh.
I knew it was excellent to have the foresight to buff a perfect shine into those plates.
Yeah, I think the blood from our friend is really going to add to the protective capabilities of it.
You think?
Has there been any word regarding the oracle we found within the prison? Any sign of movement from the staff?
I think I would have probably looked into it a little bit.
Yeah.
What do I know?
You filed your report. And you haven't seen Windless since. There's been no really official record of his movement from one place to the other. It's kind of odd, really. People don't really disappear here unless, some people do, but typically you would know about it, and you would know why.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you know. About when I returned to my report the next day, he was taken out of the Gen Pop. So, beyond that, I haven't heard anything else. I feel like that problem has been taken care of.
Yes.
Please tell Winnebago his friends are waiting for him.
Okay, for sure.
Yes.
Well, just came over to drop off these orders and the papers. I'm gonna go. I just got word that Vesper's woken up, so I'm gonna check on her.
Samuel, I hate to put any more burden upon you, but there is one thing I would like to ascertain before we leave this place. I must find my body. It has been taken from me, and I do not know if it is being held upon this station or elsewhere.
Your body.
Could you? Yes.
What am I looking at right now, then?
You are seeing a shell of Seer, but Seer is more than just a flesh and blood person. Seer is made up of a regalia, a piece of powered armor, so advanced no one else in the Imperium could hope to duplicate it. It was taken from me when I was put into prison. I have been without my body since. I would happily leave this station behind if I knew that my regalia, my body, was not present. But I must find out where it is first.
Ah, okay. So this is like your Templar armor that got taken when you were arrested, I guess. Okay. Yeah.
This is a much more simple way of saying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. You're a clam. You didn't tell me you were like a clam.
I suppose I am like a clam. This soft and vulnerable flesh is not me. I am a fusion of man and metal.
Me and Gamma Crash used to dig them up from the beach and steam them and crack them open. You add a little salt and a little pepper. You got yourself something delicious. I never knew you were so delicious, Seer. You always have new surprises.
Thank you.
Lovely. Well, Seer, I'll try and find your armor, but in the meantime, don't let Egg lick you or apply salt on you.
Would it surprise you if I said too late on either count?
It wouldn't surprise me at
That
all,
was one
actually.
time.
I believe it 100%. Well then, good luck with that problem. I will look into finding out what happened to your body, and I also will go check on Vesper.
Samuel, I just want you to know, you have thoroughly impressed me with your conduct, your subterfuge, and your ability to speak. I look forward to further interactions with you. My full faith is in your abilities. Our full faith is. Right, Seer?
Indeed. Don't get caught.
Well, I haven't yet, and I've done crazier stuff than this, so let's go.
As Samuel leaves you, Egg and Seer, what are you doing in your...
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Crazier stuff than this? I wonder what sort of shenanigans he's gotten into.
Yes, most likely he's the type of person that I would have been ringing in a different life. I have to say, if all we had to do to get time sequestered away from the general populace and get our meals delivered to us was getting people killed horribly, I would have started doing that ages ago.
That's not part of the crash race here, but I fully trust you. After all, you're the other brains of this operation.
Well, the brains would be nothing without the heart to power them. You are very clearly the heart, given that you have one.
You don't have a heart either? So you're like a clam.
Yes, we've
Clams have
discussed
hearts.
this.
Clams don't have any circulatory system whatsoever.
Yeah. That's a thing.
We're learning so much about Seer and his native life in the ocean.
You know, Seer, I remember one day I was walking with Sigma Crash
Under the sea.
through broken fields, torn asunder by our explosive effort, filled with dropping Imperial ships. And all I could think to myself was, I wonder who's underneath that skin. Sigma Crash. That's all I think about people, you know? What's the best part of them? And now you're telling me you're a shell, and I haven't even seen the best part of you? It's so exciting!
Yes, the person you've been interacting with thus far is very much like the scared boy that once came to the Templars. A weak thing yet to be molded into true form. The armor was what made me, me. It is as part of me as any other organ.
But wouldn't the armor be like a shell?
The armor is more important than that. In a way, it feels more like
Oh.
myself than this does.
It's like an exoskeleton. Like an ant. You're an ant. I've got it.
Yes, I am an ant, and a clam, and the brains.
You say you're more of a hive or a hill type of creature.
It's a fair question. Ants are technically wasps. Yeah, no, that
Yes,
that actually
ants
tracks.
are technically wasps when you think about it.
I think Seer just goes and lays back down on the bed, and he's just like, all right, it was fun while it lasted. I need to get out of here.
Alpha Crash used to say that when insects bond together, they can create, and he trails on you. You can go to the next.
And I make it to the hospital room.
And as you do, you enter into this rarely used but readily stocked hospital room to see as Vesper has slowly begun to pick herself up and sit up in the bed. And we just lost PK again.
We just lost PK.
Damn it.
I have to remember that I put myself on push to talk for this. We just lost PK.
Push to talk is so useful sometimes because like I will break out into song way too often.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just lost
I'm back.
PK.
I'm back.
That
I'm
what you're
back.
going for?
Okay. So as you enter into the seldom used but well-stocked medical room, you see as Vesper begins to slowly lift herself up, awake, and examining her new addition and subtraction to her form.
Just slowly looking at it and thinking, fuck, this is not what I'm used to, and I hope I can get some better movement into it.
I'll walk in and see her examining the arm and be like, oh wow, I gave you that piece of crap.
I like the Mad Cat's arm.
It's the Mad Cat's arm.
Their
Prosthetics.
turbo button.
Yeah, I look at it and yeah, I've seen a few of those before. Kind of janky.
Not
Thumbsticks a lot.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Great.
How are you feeling? How's the
Pain.
Just yep. Okay. Well, Egg and Seer are doing okay. They've been pretty much kept in their room.
Grounded.
Yeah, they've been grounded. And but we're working on a plan, and it's coming up. I don't think we're going to be able to get you out of here on medical leave, considering how you lost an arm and they didn't evacuate you.
This would have been a good time for it.
It really would. It would have been.
It's true.
Yeah. But we've got another plan. You have been reassigned to loading duty. Loading and unloading crates on the ship. With your arm, obviously you might just be the one working the forklift maybe at that point, but
Is Vesper forklift certified?
You
Yeah.
said this thing gets jammed, and you want to put me on a forklift and potentially just. And as she says that, her arm gets jammed, and she goes,
well, yeah.
It's
I
only
was-
prison.
You're right about that. Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking with just the other arm, the still human one you could drive, but it does put a risk that I didn't consider. Either way, I've got Seer and Egg loading up supplies needed for an escape on a ship. And over the next few weeks, we're going to outfit a ship during our work schedules. And
"Weeks? I thought you said it was only going to be a week."
yeah, over the next week or so. I mean, we have to prepare this ship. Just trust me on it. It'll be okay. We'll be getting out of here. It's taking a little longer than I thought. breaking out of the most secure prison in the galaxy is a challenge. And it's a new one for me. I'm usually more getting into places. So, just work with me and we'll figure this out.
So,
And we'll get you a better arm.
that would be brilliant. So what am I doing?
I want you. You study, right? You're a scholar.
Archaeologist.
Okay. I need you. I don't know what I can do with an archaeologist at the moment. You know what? Give me a few minutes and I'll think about it. But I believe
Brutal.
I need.
For someone who is meant to like break me out, you really don't know too much about me, do you?
I know who I'm supposed to get. I don't know very
Okay.
much about you though. I got my orders and I followed them. In the meantime though, I want you to read up on solar flare activity and do research into that and the effects that it can have.
In the prison that we don't have a library in?
Yeah.
Look, I
There is
would love
library
to help,
duty.
but you are giving me the most difficult task, especially when there is no place where I can actually do any sort of research. I would love to, because that is something
Mhm.
I'm very good at. But
So here's the thing, Samuel. You know
Yeah.
that it's more likely that you guys would be able to find out information while on these duties. Just because it's typically a place where, prisoners aren't as often, and it's typically more crew people. It's a very special detail to be helping with unloading and loading. So, the right person looks away for long enough. You could definitely have her kind of do some
Yes.
research.
Yeah, these on these ships, on these transport ships, they do have a general connection and
like a
downloaded
log.
almost a downloaded encyclopedia on their computer
Sure.
cores
Yeah,
that
I
you might be
can.
able to read from. And while it would be difficult to actually access it and everything like that, us being in proximity to the ship should give us enough opportunities that you can find useful information.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. So we just need to get in there and
As long
get
as you don't
back to
put me
work.
on a forklift.
Okay, we'll have Steer do the forklift. That'll be like,
That's probably the smarter option.
yeah, that'll be like a thing. You can supervise, and we'll just make Egg carry things.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I can be lifting anything anytime soon with the pain anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll come back for you in a couple days to start this detail. We don't start it for...
I'm back? I have to stay here?
well, I don't know. I kind of thought you would. You said you were in pain. So
Yes,
I thought
I'm
the
in
doctor would keep
pain.
you here.
But there's nothing to do here. You want me to stay here for 2 days?
I don't know. Doc, when can she go?
The doctor comes in from the office. Well, she is nearly healed up. She's going to need to do a few hand-eye coordination tests with the new prosthetic, but that's physical therapy that can be done in her own cell. She should be fine to go. The week that she's been in this medically induced coma.
Week?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you've been out for a week.
It's been a week for you. We find it helps
Worst
with
place.
the nerve attachments and your body getting used to the idea of having this prosthetic when you don't actually have to be conscious for it. If that makes sense.
He's saying that when you're asleep, your body doesn't reject it.
I understand.
Okay, cool.
Archaeologist.
Yeah, I know.
With
Sorry.
your meal, make sure you have them give you, and he looks through his paperwork. Compound 7 is a painkiller, should help. So,
Compound
hopefully.
7.
Am I familiar with this painkiller?
Go ahead and roll a intellect check for me.
Difficulty.
Difficulty for this is going to be a 5. It's a heavy one.
We're gonna use an effort. No.
You have never heard of this painkiller. PK, if you would like, you could definitely make the same check, but at a lower difficulty.
Yeah, sure. What is it? What was the check there?
It's an intellect check, and it was difficulty 5, so it's going to be a difficulty 3 for you.
Okay. Because I have the chart. I'm going to expend an effort as well.
That's right, you are.
I did it.
Fantastic.
I'm glad I spent that effort too.
You know that most of the pharmaceuticals that go to market typically end up tested at one place or another, but usually it's going to be tested here. It's experimental, and you know, they wouldn't give her anything that would cause permanent damage, so you know that much. They do care that she sticks around and has as long and happy of a life within this prison as possible. So that's good news.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of... As far as I think I just kind of... I don't say much to it at all as far as...
Yeah.
It's the doctor's orders to give it to her. If I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I don't think it's bad,
Right.
to some degree.
Yeah, you have no reason to think that it
Yeah.
would be negative in any way, just because, like I said, they have a vested interest in keeping Vesper here until old age.
I think might generally warn against taking experimental painkillers, just as I think I'd say I've seen a few other painkillers based off of this kind of same chemical makeup, and they're dangerous. I saw a lot of friends get lost to them, so if you can stand the pain, maybe just take the pain and not the painkillers. But at the same time, I'm not gonna tell you to just suffer. So
All the trigger warnings that I'm going to have to add to these episodes. From random injections.
randoms,
Literally.
my own thoughts of just like, hey. And I mean, Samuel's backstory, he definitely has seen some people get way too addicted to stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The places you've hung out, you know, it's... Anyway.
Yeah.
As you... that was a horrible place to get frozen, Brayden. It was something like this. Looked like you were having an oracle vision as well.
No.
PK, Samuel, as you leave, you kind of head down the hallway and you hear a tink, 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 tink. As you pass by a room, and you see Windless poking his little eyes through like the slot up at the top,
Okay.
trying to
Windless.
get your attention.
Windless?
Hear you.
What? They can hear me?
Hear you.
You can't hear me, okay. Can I open the door? Can I get in there? Is it...
Yeah, go ahead and check, see what you got. See if you could see if your key card would work for it.
Yeah. I'll try and talk to him, see what's up.
Yeah. Hold on, just a second. I'm about to sneeze.
Tim Gazette.
It's 3 in a row. Oh, 4? Okay.
We're good. You check your key card, and it does seem that this room has some sort of restricted access. It is higher clearance than you have at the moment.
Can I... Is there just like a speaker that I could speak through to him at all? Or
Yes, we'll say there is. A little
Okay.
intercom.
I'll activate the speaker and be like, hey, Windless.
Oh, thank goodness. I haven't spoken to anyone in a week, Samuel.
I've got you in isolation. Yeah. What's the deal with being an oracle?
Well, unfortunately, that information slipped out.
I mean, yeah, I told everyone.
Yes, and now the brass are quite interested in my abilities as well. They don't seem to understand that if it's not something I'm going to witness, I can't see it. I had one guard literally ask me what the galactic lottery numbers were going to be. And, of course, I just gave him some numbers, because fuck that guy. But
Yeah. Fair enough.
is Vesper okay?
She lost an arm. She's in a lot of pain. Another gang leader, I think he's dead. He got slammed up against the wall by, I think, Egg's mind powers. And, then, yeah. So wait, you can see the future if you're going to be present for the event itself.
I can only see things that future me will see.
Okay. Well, don't tell the Empire that, because then they'll just drag you around to places where they want to know the future.
I did not even consider that possibility.
Yeah, so you should stick with me.
Oh, the worst.
So I
They
can
would just
keep you
have me
safe.
next to the Emperor at all times.
Yeah.
Do you think they would treat me well?
Depends on if you tell them stuff they want to hear or not. I assume that if you predict a doom, they'll kill you in an attempt to prevent it.
That's
Because then
because
you
if I
wouldn't be
don't
there.
see it, then maybe. That is an interesting line of thought.
Yeah.
I've never really talked to anyone about this before, so this is new to
Because,
me.
yeah, if you predict a doom, but then you die before it happens, you technically weren't going to be there for it. But you were. You know,
Well, you better keep me alive then, because I see you escape.
okay. Then I'll keep you around and alive, and maybe we'll have conversations with Seer about the confusing nature of your effect on causality in this universe. Because this is strange to me. And he had said something about that when he discovers you were an Oracle. Because he's a
Oh.
Templar.
Yeah, this I know. There's a reason.
This motherfucker sitting here being like, you gotta stick with me, I'll keep you safe. You're the one that threw him to the Gestapo!
Hey, I just did what you told me to. I have never encountered any oracle thing at all. But now I'm like, oh, if you're gonna be so if you stick with me, then I'll know my future. So I want you around. Like I completely told him what other people would use him for, and then in the same breath was like, so let me use that. Let me use you that way. It's all. Yeah, I'm not being nice to this guy at the moment. I'm definitely trying to take advantage of him.
Beautiful.
This poor 21-year-old winless. He only has one friend here. It's Egg.
I love Winger.
And so, yeah, I'll yeah, okay.
Cat.
Well, I can't open this door. The only thing that I'm able to activate is this speaker, this conversational thing.
Don't worry, it will open when the time is right.
Okay, that's wonderful. All right. Well then, I guess I'll see you when the time's right.
One more thing. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I have seen it. So therefore I feel like I must. Seer's armor. It is somewhere aboard this ship.
Okay. I check that off my list or I amend my list.
Oh, space
a little
station.
bit of my to-do list, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I see him putting it on as you leave.
Okay. Good to know.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you where you found it.
Yeah, it's probably in the evidence control unit somewhere.
It's rather large.
Yeah. Wait, his armor's large or the unit is large?
I mean, his armor was... I mean, you've seen Templar armor, right?
No, I did not even know that. I kind of heard the name and was like, they're like secret police for the Empire who hunts dark. I don't know. I come from a farming place.
Oh,
I never dealt with magic.
yeah. So you're
Don't
not
deal with
from Atrosia or any of the core worlds.
No, I'm from a moon around a gas giant.
Oh, nice. Well, you should feel right at home here.
Yeah, the pull is familiar.
Well, when the time is right, get me out of here, which you will, so.
Yeah, okay. How big is this? How big is Templar armor? Is it like a suit?
Well, you know how he comes up to about here on me?
Yeah, he's real small.
It makes him actually taller than me, so it's...
Okay. Does it make him as tall as me? You know what? I'll just find it. I'll go look for it.
It'll be fine.
I'll try it on too. I mean, I don't know.
If you could have them send me some more rations, I might be a little bit more malleable to show them the feature as he winks at you.
Okay. Perfect. Then, yeah, I'll get onto that too. So then, yeah, I think I'm gonna go talk to my coworkers maybe. And I can do this in kind of like more of a montage thing, but I'm gonna talk to what? Handwriting's terrible. Jern and Melia?
Jean.
Well, no, there was Jean, but then I also have two of my coworkers.
Malia and the other guy.
Jera or Jern?
Yep.
Jern.
It was Jarn.
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 I'm gonna write this down better.
Court is adjourned.
It's a problem with sci-fi names, you know, and fantasy names, and just names in general.
I think Windless has about 4 different variations in my notes. So
His is the most simple. It is a simple WYNLAS.
So simple.
And I think it's an adorable name, and you guys are so mean to Winless.
Well, could have made him win more. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Vesper, you are guided back to a cell. It's not the cell that you knew as your cell. You're in a different cell block now. Probably
Where am I?
you went from one cell block to a different cell block.
Why?
We're doing this for your own protection. After an altercation such as that, you and your friends are being relocated to make sure that those things don't happen anymore.
But it was the machine that took my arm off.
In an altercation with other prisoners.
The machine's also getting a cell.
Don't worry, we've begun to yeah, exactly. Don't worry, we've begun to spread rumors that you're dangerous and shouldn't be messed with.
Okay, well, let me just say, before you have people operating those machines, you really need an instruction manual so that something like this doesn't happen again.
Well, normally, we don't have fights breaking out in the manufacturing room.
I still think that... Whatever.
Think what
Your
you
machines are
want.
stupid.
Think what you want, prisoner.
Dumb.
Don't worry. We were able to make sure that you still got your own room.
Lovely.
So,
Longer privacy screen timer?
actually, you have been given some extra amenities as a condolences for, and he gestures to your arm.
Oh, so if somebody loses an arm in prison, you don't replace it? That's just it? They just stumpy?
Yes, typically. But you're a special case, and in order to continue receiving the special treatment that you're going to be receiving, and he opens up the cell, and you see an actual like blanket, like it's nice, and really the room in general feels a lot more comfortable. In order to keep receiving such wonderful amenities, we just ask that if your parents happen to come and visit, you tell them that you lost your arm to an infection.
I don't know if they'll be happy to hear that I lost my arm with an infection.
Well,
You should have the drugs to fight that infection.
we should, in fact, and it really is just such a bummer that we didn't. But another large donation from your family could definitely rectify that and make sure that you're kept in great health.
Well, I'll be sure to let them know, but I've not heard from them, so...
Wonderful. I'll leave you to it. It is free time. Don't stress your arm too much. At least for the next few days. It's still on the mend. Egan Sear, Samuel shows up with transfer paperwork.
Hey, did you hear the rumors? Vesper is not to be messed with.
Yeah.
Yes, apparently she's capable of tearing a man in twain with just a mere thought.
You heard that? I just heard she's not to be messed with.
Yeah.
Yes, that would lead one to the conclusion that she's not to be messed with.
Oh! Oh, you're smart.
Why he's
That's
the
true.
brains. He's our soft little clam brain boy.
Now I have to look at your stats. Yeah, I guess brains is a way to describe you. All right.
Yes, thank you. Transfer is complete. We are now scheduled to work at the docks.
You're not scheduled to work at the docks. Also, you're being moved to a different cell block. It's a little... it's a little closer to the docks than the previous one, than this one is. So,
Very
that's
good.
But I just finished decorating. It's like gestures to like the side of the room where 100 origami like humanoids have been carefully folded.
Out of
Wow.
napkins.
That's amazing. You do this, Egg?
That's Alpha Crash. That's Beta Crash. That's Gamma Crash. This one's Seer, and it picks up like the smallest one. I made his head big.
Oh, adorable.
So cute.
I'm quite partial to Seer.
Yeah. Well, Seer,
And look, I made a shell, and I just put like sandwich paper around it.
speaking of your shell, your armor is somewhere on this station. So, I guess we'll try and... I'm thinking I'll try and get it into a crate or something and have it be loaded onto one of the ships that we need to escape on.
The idea of my regalia being forced into a crate is like scraping nails across a chalkboard, but if it needs to be done, it needs to be done.
Alright, how big is this armor? Is it like a normal suit, or do you become 20 feet tall and pilot it?
I become as imposing as I need to for the job ahead.
He
But if you're
feels
looking for
20 feet tall. That's what matters.
If you're looking for technical specifics, I stand 8 feet tall when ensconced within the armor.
Okay, so yeah, pretty big.
That's an extra 3 feet on top of Seer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy's got platforms like you wouldn't believe.
A lot of leg on that armor. Got it. Okay.
Don't wear it.
It'll be a big... Don't wear it.
Do not touch it.
I wouldn't even think about it. I wasn't going to try.
Here, can I wear
I
it?
will destroy it. No. No one may wear it. Not only is it bonded to my ID code, so you physically could not, but it would sully the armor's integrity and spiritual purity. You're an ally, Samuel, so I'm letting you handle it, but do not attempt to wear it.
Okay. I won't attempt to wear it. I'm totally going to put a glove on, but, maybe not the whole thing.
I can read your mind.
No, you... What? What? Really?
It's true. Yesterday he knew I needed to pee before I did.
How could he read that in your mind if you didn't even know it?
I don't
It's
know.
amazing. The signals that are sent.
All right. Well, wow.
Flashback to Seer, just like kind of looking over at Egg, and Egg's just doing like the kind of like toddler, like kind of squirming pants like routine.
I don't. You think we get to go out soon?
He has a shy bladder, and you guys have been cooped up in the same room for a week.
Okay. Yeah. Well. What the? Apparently, also, I ran into Winless. He's still around, and he says that we're all going to escape together, and he is predicting our future, and I think that's pretty cool. Honestly.
Don't listen to a single thing he says.
Okay. Why?
Have I not described the danger that Windless poses?
I mean,
Now
said
that you know that
something
he is an
about-
oracle, he can use that information to his advantage. He will tell you whatever he needs to say to survive, but he is a threat to our reality. Even listening to him could divert the strands of fate from where they are meant to lie and turn them into completely different realities.
Okay. But at the end of the day, I mean, the chips have fallen where they fell.
That is one way to look at it.
So, the future...
One way of
Nah. You go ahead.
I'm simply saying this. I've expressed the danger that Windless poses.
Mhm.
Contact with him at this point is a risk we should not take.
Hold on. Did you say they were chips?
Yes, they've fallen somewhere behind the mattress. You should go look for them.
Oh, great.
Okay. Well, yeah, gather up your paper origamis, your pillow, get your toothbrush, and we'll get you moved over to the new.
I don't see her.
Try under the right pillow.
You know what? The chips.
There's only salt and vinegar.
They're in the new room.
Oh.
They're in the new room. So yeah, there's a mix-up. There's confusion. So yeah, gather up all your origamis and stuff, and we'll head on over there. And
Right.
I won't put on the power armor, and I won't go and chat more with Windless.
2 things he's probably going to absolutely do.
I think Seer just kind of gives a nod and then goes over to help Egg. And just like in total contrast to the rest of the brusque manner that he's treated Egg, I think he is very gingerly, like almost picking up the origami as if they were small sacred objects and depositing each one neatly down into the box, and picking up another one and setting it down, just doing what he can to help.
It's really hard not to grow close to your cellmate when, like, you're essentially in isolation together. Just stuck. You're either going to go one of 2 ways. Either you're going to kill each other, or you're going to become best friends. So
I'm surprised they haven't killed each other yet.
I think I take the Seer origami figure, and as I'm about to put it away, I kind of stop it, glance over at Egg, lengthen the stride a little bit, just kind of like just make it a little taller and set it away.
Oh gosh, wonderful. As you guys
done.
finish up packing what little prison belongings you have, you are led through the hallways to a new cell block, identical to the one that you came from. Really, the only thing that is different is the faces that you see looking at each of you, giving nods of respect. Just like, it's not often somebody gets a transfer from one cell block to the other. And you are led to your cell, which again is basically identical in every single way. No special treatment for you. Very thin sheet that they call a blanket, and yeah.
There you go, guys. Home away from home.
This is great accommodation, Samuel. You know you're always looking out for us. I really appreciate it.
Vesper,
You're one
you
good friend.
hear the familiar voices of Egg and Seer and Samuel as you poke your head out the door and see that they are right next door to you.
Oh boy. Is he quiet at night?
No.
What, is that Vesper? Whoa, please, don't tear me in half. I won't mess with you.
I won't tear you in half, Egg.
Thank you.
Vesper, how are you?
How do I look?
Like you will endure, as we all must.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys enjoy your reunion. I've got to go see a man about some extra food for a prisoner and a little bit
Sir,
of
I've
armor.
got a
Yeah.
question for you. The guard that dropped me off said that my parents are sending money to the prison. Have
Just
they been
gonna-
in touch?
Oh, we just lost
fuck's
BK.
sake.
It's PK today too. All right, and you're
I'm
back
back.
on stream.
I'm back.
Let's start back with the top of that question there.
Yeah.
The guard that dropped me off at the cell said my parents are sending money to the prison. Have they been in touch?
I haven't heard anything about money or your parents being in touch. I was given my orders by my organization to infiltrate the prison and
I
get
understand,
you out of
but
here.
you're also technically, I guess, my bodyguard. Is that what you're classified as officially here?
Yes.
So wouldn't that mean that you would potentially get a notification if they tried to contact?
I mean, that would make sense, so I can only assume that they are not trying to contact us.
I think Seer listening in on this wants to know if Samuel is lying.
I mean, you could definitely roll a check on that. Samuel, you will not have to roll anything on this, but it's going to be an intellect, and let's say difficulty 3 for this.
Intellect. Nope, never mind.
Yeah, you can't get a read on him. Maybe he's just an excellent liar. You don't know.
Am I correct as a player that he did know?
He as far as you know, don't know. You don't know.
No.
I know Seer doesn't know, but I thought that there was a conversation of Samuel being told, yeah, her parents have been.
Oh, nothing about
Checking
the
up on
money, but rather that
Gotcha.
They
They're like
possibly
aware.
will check up.
Yeah.
And that's
All right.
Yeah. No, yeah. You're good. You're good.
Player brain stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
You
Nope.
haven't had your family check on you either? That's terrible. I know the crashes are out there somewhere, waiting to break me free.
Did he forget we're breaking out?
I guess so. I guess he did forget. Anyway, my orders currently, I have a frequency that I'm supposed to radio in on once I escape and have you safely away from here. And then from there, they're going to tell me where I need to go and who I'm supposed to meet. But until that moment comes, I don't know exactly who hired my group or why particularly you are so important to my employers, to this prison.
I mean, we've already had this discussion. I don't think it was my parents who would have done this, hired you.
Yeah.
Clearly. I guess it's just I haven't heard from them since I was arrested.
And you were in pretty regular communication and on good terms with your family before the arrest?
Well, good terms is a little bit loose, but because I worked for the government,
Mm-hmm.
they funded all my projects.
Your family did or the government did?
My parents were able to,
To route
do
funding to you. Okay.
do the senator's daughter pull strings here and there, allow me to do the projects that I want to do.
Okay.
What were the projects?
Yeah.
Just research on planets.
Neat.
Archaeology stuff.
Oh, you're an archaeologist? My favorite dinosaur is the Plesiosaurus.
Every archaeologist listening just curled up into a ball and screamed into a pillow.
I have an anthropology degree. just me disturbing my own kind.
And every paleontologist just rolled their eyes right out of their head.
I'm over here trying to understand how the hell anyone here knows about a dinosaur. Just like,
Space dinosaurs of the space Jurassic. Come on.
yeah, of course, yeah. There's so many planets with so many bones.
So many bones. So many bones.
yeah.
Vesper, you have found so many bones, but you don't care about bones because that's not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Are you looking for something in particular?
I mainly focused on older civilizations. Just what they were doing.
Now, for you guys, especially you, Seer, being, pretty buddy-buddy with the government, focusing on older civilizations is a thing that does not compute. The official stance of the Empire is... I just dropped my dice. That I don't even need. I don't even roll dice. It's a fidget toy at this point.
Me and my letter opener.
The official stance from the Empire is that all intelligent life came from Atrocia. There are no older civilizations out there. There's been no evidence of older civilizations out there. As far as everybody knows, what the Empire says is completely true.
Dear, can you believe it? Dinosaurs had ancient civilizations. You think the T-Rexes needed, arm lengtheners?
Ooh, did they have mech suits that made them longer?
Yes, like clams.
Hmm.
I cannot speak to whether or not I've heard of such things. I know that were we in different positions, Vesper, I would most likely be interrogating you for such claims. But, given the situation, I can only hope that your knowledge will prove useful in the days to come.
Never understood the Empire's stance on the lack of civilization before them. Because on my ship, I've got proof of older times in Atrocia. Got tons of it. Wild. Now, I mean, if they don't like my ship, I know the Empire doesn't like my ship, but...
Oh, it is simple. You control the past, you control the future. I'm gifted with the capacity to remove memory.
Oh, yeah.
And using that, I am able to influence conversations how I please and direct people down the bent that I wish. What the Empire does is very similar. Which is a very efficient tactic, all things considered.
Hmm.
Given my job and what I was doing, would I know why Atrocia and the government and the Empire would put out these statements? Would I know the reasonings specifically?
All right. You have an inkling, or have always had an inkling, that the information given by the Empire was just not true, just patently false. Because it doesn't make sense, right? You've been to so many habitable planets. You've experienced so many people. None of them, of course, were aliens. But it's one of the reasons why you wanted to get into the line of work that you got into. Most archaeologists just kind of hang out, going through the underground caverns of Atrocia itself, trying to, piece together the past of Atrocia. But you specifically decided you were going to look elsewhere. Your parents, well, they funded it. you're their child, and it's either that or they would distance themselves, and they didn't want to do that at the time. It wasn't really until recently that you've been able to start piecing this together at all.
Alpha Crash says, all life began with a big crash.
The big crash.
What does Omega Crash say?
I think it started with somebody thinking.
Good. Wonderful. That's very smart. Good job, Egg.
Spontaneous generation, impossible.
Well,
Spontaneous generation.
regardless of all this, Samuel, if you hear anything, them, my parents, or even my siblings, try and contact.
Yeah, it sounds like you're being held hostage here to keep your parents in line. So, curious what that really means overall. I'll keep an ear out for you, and I'll let you know what I find out.
Thank you.
Just add it to the list of other things to go look into. Write it down.
It's got like sticky notes everywhere.
Yeah. All right,
Really needs to
check
get a
out
remarkable. It's
Coming off his
crazy.
fingers. Oh yeah, get a remarkable. It's perfect.
Okay, well, you guys seem all settled in. Anything else for me? I need to go and check on some things.
I don't think I've had a decent meal in a week.
You haven't had a decent meal. You have been fed through a tube for the past week. So
Yeah.
okay, well, the mess hall is on my list of things to go to, so I'll stop there. And
Perfect.
make sure you guys get food sent to you, as well as extra rations, or at least put in a request for extra rations for Winless. Yeah.
Seer.
He asked for it. I mean, there's still, Dave has requested it, and I also think that he's very useful, and that your Templar craziness is crazy. And I'm like, I'm not worried about a guy predicting the future. It seems great to me. It's totally. So, yeah, I'm trying to like kind of keep Winless around and keep him viable, and then I'd also go and investigate potentially getting the armor maneuvered into a better space for us.
Absolutely. As you head off, Vesper, Seer, Egg, what do you guys do now that you're alone?
I was thinking, if we save up parts of our foodstuffs and then allow them to ferment in a contained space, we can collect explosive gases. Then we can put it against the wall that adjoins our cells and enable an explosion using the napkins I've collected, allowing us to have a slumber party.
I think I enjoy my privacy, but thank you, Egg.
No, it is a fair
Do
enough
it yourself.
idea. I trust you, Egg, when it comes to explosives. That is one of the few, and I must say few subjects, and I cannot stress how few they are, that I have complete confidence in you in.
Thanks, Seer. You'll make me blush.
All right. Samuel,
Yeah.
what are you checking on first?
I'd go do the food thing, but I don't think that really needs to be too much of something. I
No.
feel like if Winless gets his extra food, cool. If not, it sucks. But at the same time, I did follow through and put the request in for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, but it's not a priority that I'm like going to fight for that specifically. But the armor is something that I do need to really buckle down on first and try and. I think I would approach wherever I would first find out where stuff is kept, where prisoner belongings are kept.
Yeah,
and then I
fairly
would go
simple. Just kind of talking and stuff. Everybody knows. Oh yeah, it's keep everything in lockup. Don't really know why. I mean, why would they hold on to it? It seems silly. You could just jettison out the airlock, or just give it to us. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean, apparently this armor's crazy or something. Anyway, I'm gonna use the spin identity action, which cost me 2 intellect, but I can convince someone that you convince all intelligent creatures who can see, hear, and understand you that you are someone or something other than who you actually are. You don't impersonate a specific individual known to the victim. Instead, you convince the victim that you are someone they do not know belonging to a certain category of people.
Okay.
And a few examples. A disguise is not necessary, but a good disguise will almost certainly be an asset to the role involved. If you attempt to convince more than one person, it increases the cost by 1 point. And creatures are fooled for an hour, or unless I really change it up.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to go there and have my guard uniform on, if I can, and tell them that I was sent from elsewhere in the prison to transfer some of these materials off, like this Templar armor is wanted by the Empire, is being transferred off the station to be studied by the Empire and better. There's just some lie about how someone is trying to study the Templar armor. It needs to be transferred off the station.
Oh, interesting. Another request for the armor, huh? That's odd to get multiple requests. See, the Templars were talking about having us ship it back to them.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
they were talking about how technically they can't use it until the user's dead, but it's said it was safer going to be at the Templar headquarters. But it's no harm for you to look at it first.
Well,
it's not going to be shipped out until after this storm anyway.
Yeah, I don't know quite the pecking order of things, but my orders come from the Senate, the Imperial Senate's something fancy.
Oh man,
I totally spaced on like any good words to use right there.
Something fancy division. Oh, right this way, sir.
Yeah, no. The Imperial Senate's. It's coming. It's an order passed by some committee in the Senate, trying to better understand the Templars and how they operate.
Hey, you don't got to convince me of anything, bud. Like, I understand orders are orders, and do what you got to do. Follow me, and you are led into this large warehouse. I mean, it has to be a warehouse. It has to be almost like a wing of its own, because the number of people who have come here and never left, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And I'm going to give you a Game Master Intrusion, Samuel. You can go ahead and give an experience to anybody that isn't Vesper, because she has too much.
I'm going to give it to...
Wow.
I'm going to give it to Seer, because I know that me and his characters are butting heads right now. But I want us to know that we're all still buddies. So you get an XP, Seer.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
As you're led into this room, and the lady turns to look at you and goes, "So, you're gonna be the black market contact then?"
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's me.
All right, good, because this solar storm is being a pain in the ass, and there is a lot of valuable goods in here that could pad a lot of pockets. Our last guy didn't quite make it. And, well, we won't talk about that. Just be better than him.
Yeah, that's no problem. We've already got a crew outfitting one of the ships to escape during the solar storm, so
Oof,
any of this stuff we can
ballsy
smuggle
move,
out.
but you know what? I get it. Like, there's so much money on the line for this. I mean, just this suit alone,
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
ridiculous.
But so yeah, I've got the ship set aside. Is there anything you can do to help me get this stuff onto it, or is there anything I need to worry about?
Listen, you put in the right requisition forms.
Mm-hmm.
We can make sure it's moved. Thing is, things don't move quickly, but we can do the best that we can. We just got to cover up, paper trail and all that stuff. Leave a big empty box here. Make it look like the armor is still here. Nobody's going to come looking for it or looking at it. At least not for a while. So
I think we might need to work faster than that. My understanding is that the Templars are after this armor as well now, and they're hoping to come and get in and get it. After
yeah,
the
that
storm.
could be quite tricky. Well, if the Templars want it, they're still going to be kind of held up as well by these solar storms.
Mm-hmm.
What we can do is we'll follow through with the Templar paperwork. I'll fudge a few dates, and we'll just have it moved to the docks.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, it'll be in its box. It'll be in the lockbox. I don't have the code just yet, but I'll make sure you have that before you load up and take off. But remember, like 20% cut.
Yeah. 20% to you. No
All right,
problem.
good.
I know.
Anything else you're looking for? Because
Well, let's see. We probably could use a few. Any extra weapons to deal to sell off when we get out of here?
oof, weapons are big hard. No,
No.
not gonna say it that way. Big hard no. It's unfortunately all of the weapons here they've tampered with. They got these tracking chips on them. They specifically want to avoid dealing in arms.
Okay.
Yeah, they turn a blind eye to some things, but it's.
Well, yeah. Anything like so no arms. Any tech, any computer tech that we could get out would be always valuable.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. Any AIs or computer cores that might be.
We might be able to. We'll leave a good old pile of stuff for you, okay?
Yeah, yeah, that'll be good enough. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, I've lingered too long. I should get out of here.
Yeah, it's true. We don't want anybody to get suspicious.
Yep.
So,
all right.
Remember, you didn't see anybody, didn't talk to anybody today.
Of course not.
All right.
I leave that room and immediately try and figure out who the hell that was and what black market stuff is happening, because I have no idea who that person is.
Yeah, it is someone you've never met before, which means that they probably specifically work in that warehouse and just that warehouse alone.
Yeah, but the fact that they also have a black market contact kind of means that I don't want...
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, I don't want that person showing up.
Oh.
Because then that would put me on blast.
Yeah. Well,
interesting.
What would you like to do?
I've kind of done everything. I feel like I got the only other thing to be would be to check in and try to investigate why Vesper is here. Like try and really go through some of the intake records. Definitely. And understand this mystery, because she's being I feel like she's being held hostage to keep her parents in line for something. And
for this you're gonna basically do an investigation. This is gonna be intelligence or intellect, It is.
Now, can I do any recoveries at all?
Oh, absolutely. You can always take your action recovery if you need to,
All right, I'm gonna do that.
if you have an action to do it.
I suppose I do.
You do.
Alright.
Your 10 minutes and stuff, like, there's nothing crazy going on.
Yeah.
Like, if you stopped in the hallway for 10 minutes, you could stop in the hallway for 10 minutes. That
Yeah,
goes the
that's
same for all of you guys while all of this stuff is going on. You can definitely roll your recoveries if you've used up some of your stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I take my lunch break and regain my intellect points that I've been spending all day.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
stuff that I'm going to be looking for is, I guess I know why it was for trespassing. I want to understand the planet that she was on and why it was quarantined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we tackle that, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you guys through using your experience points real quick. Samuel, you're supposed to have 2 more than that. There you go. Now you got them. Every 4 experience points that you get to use on an advancement for your character. There are a number of advancements that you can take. Let me pull up the Cypher Rules section of our chat here, which is right here. Learn to play, and we just lost Brayden. What a great time to lose him, too. Let me bring him back in. Watch, I'm going to bring him back, and then he's going to go away.
Then you're going to get kicked off.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh.
There he is. There we go. Show on stream.
Hi.
Oh,
He's back.
fantastic. So what you do is you're going to take those 4 experience points, and you can spend them. So essentially, you mark them off your character sheet, and you get to take an advancement of some sort. Advancements include increasing your capabilities, which would give you 4 pool points to divide amongst your pools. You can move towards perfection, which is going to add an edge to one of your pools, and that will make using abilities for that pool cheaper, and of course effort in that pool cheaper. You can use effort. You can take extra effort, so you can use more than 1 effort per action because you'll have it instead of just being limited to the 1 effort that you have. You could learn a new skill if you would like. I typically kind of push people away from that one because if you ask me, we can make cheaper ways for you to learn skills. All of this is going to be edited out of the final recording, by the way. This is all for your benefit.
This is how we train people and let them learn how
No,
Cypher
that is true.
works.
That is how you teach other people how a Cypher system works. But the other options are you can pick up an ability from your type or a magic flavor if you would like. So that's an option. So say you're like, I wanted to take that ability, but these 4 were more important at the time. You can add one now if you spend 4 experience points. Let's see. Last bits, you can add a +2 to your recovery rolls permanently. I always recommend taking that one at least for the first 2 tiers, just because that extra 4 points to recovery is wonderful. Or you could take an ability from your focus. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I do suggest you keep a document where you will be keeping all of your planned advancements. So say you already have your tier 2 type warrior, speaker, explorer, whatever figured out. If you write those down ahead of time, when you get enough experience points to finally finish out in advance all 4 of the advancements, that is your next tier. So when the next tier is where your next advancement's going to be, that you've already hit tier 2, if that makes sense.
You sent a website where it was way easier to see the.
Yep, it is. Here, let me grab that for you guys real quick. It is the best thing in the world because no, don't open up Obsidian. I don't need you right now. You're on my phone. It is called the Old Gus Cypher System. There it is. CRSD. So. Post this in the chat for you guys, just because some you guys mentioned that you didn't really know much about the advancing. but 16 experience points, and then you have enough experience points to fill out all 4 of the advancements. And you can take them one at a time. You can take them at any point. The moment you have 4 experience points, you can spend them on that. So, just be thinking about that. You don't have to necessarily be thinking about it right now, but if you would like to be looking over it and it's not going to distract you too much, absolutely. Where were we? PK, you were on lunch. Samuel?
Yeah.
You're doing a quick rest
my rests.
beforehand. Things have been a little bit more quiet, Egg, Vesper, Seer, in this cell block. You've kind of begun to notice a bit that a lot of the prisoners in this cell block are of the elderly persuasion. This is more of the retirement home of the prison. And, you know, there are a couple of younger faces, but for the most part, it is, well, yeah. In fact, you have a couple of older sweet ladies, 3 of them. They all have a very similar tattoo on their neck. In their 70s approach, and they go, "Oh, well, it's not very often we get young blood in here. What are you in for, big fella?" And they talk to Egg, obviously.
Omega Crash, convicted terrorist.
Oh.
A pleasure.
If I could blush, I would.
All right.
That's my line.
I think Seer comes up beside Egg and just hands behind his back like, all right, we've been through this routine before, so let's cut to the chase. We're here because we've killed several people and messed with any gang that tries to stop us. So get the word out amongst the fellow neighbors here that we are not people to be trifled with. Or else my friend,
Yes.
Egg here, will snap you in half.
I'll snap. Wink.
Oh. He's flirty.
He will absolutely pound you into the dirt.
Yes, I'll pound you. Wink.
He will destroy you.
You just...
These boys are spoken for.
Oh, well, if you need anything, we're kind of the welcoming party of this cell block. We're the longest standing sisters here. Seer, you can roll. Actually, Egg and Seer, both of you can roll a intellect check on this. This is going to be a difficulty 3. Not you, phone.
Sorry, this is to do what?
To
This is
recognize the tattoo.
Okay.
Here. Difficulty 3. Okay. Wow, I love your tattoo. It reminds me of something.
Yeah, it does remind you of something. It reminds you of an old story that the Crashes have told you about of a very dangerous organization. Probably one of the most effective terrorist organizations against the Empire in the past 50, 60 years. They just kind of went by the sisters, and everybody introduced was a sister, right? They weren't all literally related by blood, but as a group of ladies, they were quite effective.
Ah, you're part of the sisters. That's great. We almost got you in the softball game last time.
She looks over at you and goes, "Oh, you've heard of us. Tell us, are they still active out there? Are their sisters still roaming around?"
Well, not lately. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen you all around in a while. Crash is we keep to ourselves.
Ah, Crash Clan. Interesting. Does explain why you are so handsome.
Y'all make me blush. Sister? Wink.
Wink indeed. You, young lady, have you ever considered joining up with the sisters?
Oh, they're a
I've never
great
heard of
lot,
you.
Vesper. Righteous.
Aren't I part of your group though, Egg?
No, that's we're friends, but we're talking about clans here, organizations. All these clans gather together every year and have a softball match. You could join in next time. Well, not
I
here,
think
of course.
I think I'm good.
Next,
Yeah, she's spoken for.
planning on getting out of here?
No, in here for life.
Us too.
Wink?
Well,
No wink, Egg.
Oh. Unwink.
well.
You'd best get out of here before my friend reduces you to a quivering mass on the floor.
Yes.
Damn it.
You'll be a quivering mass.
Well, I don't know how much more I can take of this. We'll see you around. And they head off.
I hear they're excellent at bridge.
They're also excellent at getting thrown into prison. Was I saying something weird? Why did my threats not land with the intended effect?
I don't know, you're very threatening. The most I've ever met, Seer. Except for Vesper. You don't want to mess with her.
No, you really don't.
That's right. Samuel, anything else you'd like to look into?
Yeah, it would just be that
Vesper's
info.
information.
Yeah, Vesper's arrest and stuff.
Fantastic.
I think that's all I want to get into.
You get into the computer and start kind of pulling up files.
All right.
What exactly is it? What keywords, what searches are you looking for? And of course, more importantly, excuse me, make an intellect roll for me as well. This is going to start at a tier 3, difficulty 3. However, the better you do, the more information you will find.
So I will do my intellect roll. I have an inability in lore knowledge and understanding.
I love looking at Samuel's inventory and it just says shank.
That's all I've got. I don't know what else to put. So I'm going to do the lore knowledge and understanding, which I'm untrained in. We're going to start it at a 3.
Oh, so it goes up to a 4.
So it goes up to a 4. I'm going to add an effort to the roll. So it's going back down to a 3. But I also have the ability of understanding. My cat is on my keyboard and it's causing me problems. Hold on.
I always hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm Googling important information.
All right, Jordy.
About
you got
prisoners.
me down for now. Okay, so, but I also have this ability of understanding where it says creature or object, and my next interaction with that object is.
Yeah, so that would be kind of like, you learn to, you learn from your failures,
Yeah.
You're kind of picking up skills as you go along, and so you study an object long enough, maybe you can figure it out. You're kind of already pretty versed in using a computer at this point.
I figured it might not work.
But look at that, and you did fairly decent.
I got up to a 5.
Vesper's parents are currently paying a large sum of money to keep her alive, really. Not so much as a, like she's threatened, but more so she's still family.
Yeah.
Even if she's become the black sheep.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking and trying to figure out, A, what was the deal with the plane that she was on? That's a big thing.
Yep.
And, yeah, I guess are her parents being threatened.
Yeah. So the planet is not named.
Okay.
But it does have the essentially saying quarantined planet. Usually, you would assume that a quarantined planet would mean a planet that, has some sort of contagion or other thing. But with your roll being high enough, it seems also likely that it could just be a planet of immense secrets. Things that maybe the Empire would prefer people not stumble upon.
Yeah.
In fact, you kind of read the report and you find that it was Eryn, or not Eryn's. It was Vesper's. It was Vesper's ship that led to the discovery of the rebel, insurgency hiding on the planet. Obviously, Vesper had no idea, but her going there and exploring on her own raised some red flags for the Empire, and because of this, they were able to root out a large number of insurgents.
Okay.
As far as are her parents being threatened, it does not seem so. In fact, it seems rather opposite. It seems the prison is being threatened quite heavily by Vesper's parents. Kind of a situation where it's hey, maybe you need my vote to continue to exist as a
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Lots of threatening messages from Papa Vesper.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got a better picture of what's going on then now. I think I
Frost.
Frost.
Papa Frost.
Papa Frost. And then I will go and hook back up with Vesper and say, kind of give her my understanding and explanation of what happened. I'll say, hey, I looked into what's going on with your parents and everything. Apparently, your arrest is relatively legitimate as far as the law goes. Meaning you were caught on a planet with terrorist cells on it, and technically being in that proximity and such on that quarantined location was enough to warrant your arrest. Your parents aren't happy about that.
Say though, I know my equipment was working. It wasn't quarantined.
So they... Okay. So they lied about the condition of your arrest then. And whether or not your parents know that...
It's possible, Samuel, that the status of the planet was updated after the arrest.
Which is essentially still them lying and fabricating this charge and entrapping you here on the planet. Either way, or then they entrap you and then get you arrested. I don't think your parents are happy about that. Clearly, I found many notes from your father, Senator Frost, demanding.
He's not the senator.
He's not the senator?
No, my mother is.
Oh. Well then, I just saw Senator Frost. I didn't know which one was which.
We all need to re-examine our own biases from time to time.
Someone, I heard a voice in my head say Papa Frost, and I assumed that.
Well, the messages were coming from Papa Frost.
Yeah.
However, in an official capacity,
a whole other thing.
Daddy does a whole other thing that involves a lot of financier stuff, and being a wealthy bitch, all that stuff.
Well,
Some people pop a squat. He pops a frost.
That's right.
at the end of the day, your family is not happy that you're arrested, but they don't have any legal means for your release. And so you're getting special treatment because they are exerting pressure on the prison.
Can I insight check him?
Yeah, absolutely. That's allowed.
Everyone thinks I'm lying. Which generally I might be, but
I
I'm
don't.
just confused.
He's trying to piece as much of the information together as he
Poor
possibly
guy.
can.
Poor
Yeah.
guy.
It's hard when everything is shrouded in secrecy.
Yeah, so I just...
He's just listen. He's confused why he was hired, and then
He's got no idea what's going on. He's just been roped into this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got hired for my skills. I wasn't... I don't need to know everything.
difficulty 3 if you want the insight on that.
On intellect, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So,
Oh, fuck off.
no one can tell whether I lie or not.
And it's really funny that this keeps happening because it's just like it's so inconsequential, but it is
Yeah.
so funny.
Frustrating to fail.
I mean, as far as you know, he's telling the truth, or at least he believes he's telling the truth, or at least he's really good at making you believe that he's telling the truth. Hard to read. Really, if anything, he's a hard to read guy.
Would it be possible for Seer and Egg to eavesdrop kind of on this conversation?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys
was
are like
wondering if I
literally one cell over.
Yeah. I was wondering if you could spend an XP on a player intrusion.
Ooh, absolutely.
Do the convenient idea one as like Seer is listening in and like he's a very good investigator. He's putting all the pieces together and like some through line appears in all of this that kind of manifests to him in kind of a eureka moment.
Yeah. And you're sitting there listening and you're hearing as Samuel kind of like stammers through this explanation. You 100% feel that he is rationalizing why he was hired. He's trying to piece it together. He's trying to figure this out. And you know for a fact he is as lost as Vesper is on this, apart from the messages that he read. He's trying his best.
Samuel, if I could, I'm guessing you looked this up on some computer, but you could have just asked me about what happened.
Well, no, that's... I understand that. My desire is to see what the Empire says happened as well. So it's a bit of both
Right.
there.
Well, let me give you some information they probably didn't record.
Okay.
As said, the planet wasn't quarantined when I landed.
Mm-hmm.
When I came back to my ship, obviously there was some sort of fight going on. I guess there were rebels on the planet. I wasn't aware of this when I landed. I was just going towards some ruins that I had found.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guard who pointed his gun at me, was going to arrest me. However, a message came through.
A card that she knew. She went to college with the guy.
And he told me it was nothing personal and aimed to fire his gun at me. So I shot him in the hand to make him drop his gun so I could get away. However, once I was off the planet, I was caught. And I was thrown into some prison cell on Atroja, had no contact from my parents. The day of the trial, my brother shows up and tells me that I'm being made an example of for the rest of the nobility, or higher-ups, or whoever. I haven't spoken to my parents since. And then I was put here.
Okay. Yeah. That's my understanding as well, as far as you being made an example of. But, okay. Yeah, I'm lost. I don't get it. I don't
Samuel, you
understand
seem
what's
to be
happening.
uncomfortable with the idea of being used, but you must understand that you are being used, and the only thing that matters right now is getting us out of here.
Oh,
We were
yeah,
being
no,
sneaky.
I'm perfectly fine. I understand that I'm hired, and I am just a tool in this whole organization, and that's very fine with me. I just concerns me that there is no you have something there, Vesper. You've got something in your mind,
What do I
and
have?
or on your ship or something, but you have something that this empire wants. That's why they're holding on to you.
Well, they have my ship. What do I have?
Well, then you've got something in your head,
If I
suppose.
may,
He says through the wall.
Yeah.
if we are casting about for reasons as to what is going on, I might suggest this.
Mm-hmm.
Vesper, your parents and family were quite explicit with you. You're being put in prison as an example. A show that not anyone is above the law. Despite the fact that you are very clearly above the law and getting preferential treatment, it still matters that the story is you have been detained. Not even the daughter of a senator can escape the Empire's judgment. But these rebels,
But
they most
all
likely
right.
hope to use you as an example as well. An example that anyone can defect. Who better to join their movement than someone so highly placed in Imperial society? They will most likely attempt to recruit you upon breaking you out of here. An attempt to use you as a figurehead for their movement.
Well, see, my conclusion is I'm going to be held hostage by you guys, and then held hostage by them, and I'm just to be passed around.
the eternal hostage.
Yes, you are going to have to seize control of this situation sooner rather than later if you don't wish to wind up like this. Which is why I think that upon breaking out of here, we do not go directly to your employers, Samuel. Nor do we go directly to any such source. Instead, we take the time to figure out amongst ourselves what the next move is, clearly and rationally.
Okay.
Your employers, Samuel, are just as likely to pay you as they are to shoot you in the back of the head once you've delivered the package.
Yeah, that's kind of trying to figure out if that's going to happen. It's a bit of some of why I'm asking these questions, I suppose.
I gotta
The
say,
rebel
I'm
kids.
pretty disappointed, Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
You need to examine your internal biases. Anybody could be a senator.
Okay, I don't think you can be a senator.
Well, that's your assessment.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Ed, stop crowding the wall. I cannot speak to Vesper and Samuel when you're pressing over me like this.
You could just get on my shoulders.
I cannot. They are too far off the ground. Can you please bend
There,
your
I'll
knees?
pick you up. I'll pick you
All
up.
right.
I'm just gonna pop my head out of my cell. Boys, do you want to come in here?
I'll go and open their door so they can walk around. Come on and join us.
Yep.
Imagine you guys open up the door just like mid-climb, like seriously trying to like grapple onto egg like a spider monkey, but it's just like flailing his legs, just kicking in the
Absolutely.
air.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm down to not to play it slow when we get out of here and not immediately hand over
I
Vesper.
thought you didn't care.
Yeah, that was a week ago.
If I may, I know somewhere we can go. Space Station C Rash. Home of the Crash Clan.
Well, my first stop is going to be back to get my ship, but then, yeah, if you think that if your clan has a safe space, I'd be willing to consider that a base of operations to make our next move from.
Oh, I'm sure they are. And I'm a very good judge of character.
Agreeable.
All right.
All right. The rest of the day goes off by without a hitch. Everything is good. It's much more peaceful in the geriatric section of the prison. Only about half of the number of shankings are happening. It's.
I have to confiscate a few sharpened walkers and such.
Yeah, they're yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Janine, that's the third crib game this week. She's too good, this sister.
I love the props. He just keeps coming up with more and more props, and now he has
I
tiny
just
cards.
appreciate this man's
always
stage
something?
comedy.
Yeah, it's very good. I love it.
It's wonderful. It really is. And eventually you're taken to work detail and kind of shown around the cargo bay. At the point in time, there's nothing quite in there. And the supervisor of the area kind of looks at each of you and goes, my name's Abarat. I don't really know why you're here, but if you could clean up, maybe do some organizational stuff. Right in front of the camera.
Cat game now.
They do that.
But the heavy lifting equipment's over here. I heard you're a Templar. You might find this a little bit more interesting. And it's like this horrifying, like, Stone Age, in your opinion, mech suit that is used for lifting. It doesn't make you any taller. It's just more about assisting you on the lift kind of thing. Think you can figure your way around this pretty easily?
It will be like tying my ankles together, but at least now I can walk.
Right. Awesome. And
That's
you,
pretty good.
That was
That's a
very
good metaphor.
poetic.
you pretty
You
boy.
always keep them coming, Seer. Yeah, yes.
All right.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Yes. I'm talking to you.
I'm a pretty boy. That's great. But what's...
We need to reorganize some of the soon-to-be outgoing equipment over here. If you could, that would be wonderful. Just alphabetize it, really. By size, it helps for loading. Just, you should be able to handle it. And,
Right.
Alphabetized by size.
I know my alphabet. Alpha, beta, gamma, and so forth.
Really? That's
perfect.
actually true. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you get to work the computer today. So you can direct this one where he needs to put things, and both of these ones where to put things, and just kind of oversee things. They told me that you have a new arm issue. So.
And it just freezes.
It just freezes. Yeah. It goes in for a high five. Okay. Sorry.
No.
I misunderstood what was going on there. I apologize.
Clearly.
If you need me, I will be in the office.
Say, before you go, my good fellow, which of these crates contains the highly polished steel plating? So I can load it properly.
A lot of them. You got steel plating. You have. He looks at you. Some electronical devices, and the various items. Yes, all of these things will be loaded up on the first cargo ship to come through here. Absolutely.
Great.
There's no ship
Just
there right
asking
now.
for.
It's currently not
interest.
here, but it should be here tomorrow.
Good.
So.
Good.
Anyway, see to it. And he just kind of walks into his office and locks the door.
All right, and I'm gonna say, all right, Egg and Seer, and I guess Vesper as well. Though I don't think you're gonna be one moving these crates and helping set this part up as much. Here are the plates, and I'll start to try and just kind of, I don't know, describe how we can. Where, like, look, I'm going to inspect the plating and stuff, and then try and come up with a plan for later, I guess. I don't need to explain anything. I think I'm gathering info and learning at the moment.
Yeah. Vespers now would be a good chance for you to try to look into anything that you would like to look into, as well as whatever Samuel has asked you to look into as well, because you have unrestricted access at the moment. Highly responsible foreman of the warehouse, but it's whatever.
Well, probably the two things that I want to look into are the solar flares. And then two, I'm interested to see if they conducted a search of my ship and found the hard drive.
Very good. And you probably want to know where your ship is.
yeah. That would be good to know, but yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead and make an intellect roll for me. We're going to do kind of a similar thing that we did with Samuel, where this is going to be a tiered amount of information depending on how well you roll. So we're going to start off with a 2.
Okay.
Very good. You see no mentions of a hard drive. You do see that the ship is currently being held in a warehouse owned by your father, Anatrosia.
Okay. This is quite the atmosphere.
Here, actually, I can add the atmosphere. Allow me to do this. We got Scrapyard, and we specifically have we've got stuff for this. We've got stuff.
I am making the mech noises, by the way. All to myself. It's helping me keep in the spirit of things.
Vesper, while you're over there on the computer, can you print me out a schematic of the ship we're gonna be loading?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as Samuel comes, I'm just gonna quickly close.
I
wasn't looking at that.
It's not suspicious.
What? No, I just need whatever you're looking at. It's fine.
Yeah. Schematic of the ship.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh shit! I'm still on.
He thought he muted himself.
And you guys all make noises. I was like, hey, I'm fun making the noises. This is great.
No, sorry.
That's absolutely going in and staying in.
Staying in.
Solar flares.
Mm.
Vesper, you studied a lot of things when you went to the university there on Atrosia. Yes, you focused mainly on the archaeological studies, but you took a lot of electives too. With what you rolled, you definitely do see that these solar flares are a bit more problematic than you or anyone here has been led to believe. The rate at which the sun is ejecting coronal masses is increasing and not decreasing. You look at the trajectory of the station as it goes to orbit, the Tyrant, and more importantly, you see that tomorrow evening or early the following day, the eye is going to be in the way of some of these expulsions. Will it be enough to destroy the station? Probably not. Not usually. But it could cause some issues for the station. This is possibly useful, as communications will be down. But at the same time, there is always that possibility that it's worse than you expect. And that's where we're going to end. As Corb carries some things around and Sear's over there making the lightsaber noises. Oh, sorry. The laser sword noises. We're going to...
I'm so embarrassed. I feel like when my parents caught me playing with swords, like in the backyard, I would just be dancing and whipping branches around. And
Thank you so much for joining us for yet another episode of The Eye of the Tyrant. I'm DJ, and if you enjoyed what we're doing here, please consider checking out our Patreon for $5 a month. You can see us learn to play new TTRPGs, and also you can check out our merch store by going to oneshotstavern.com. See you next week.